you start talking about action plans and goals, I do get a little, I'm imagining an employee who's had some difficult conversations with a supervisor over some performance issues. I'm wondering how I'm trying to empathize with that person being called to the office to have this conversation. Are there ways to frame this? Are there questions that we could, language around the questions that we could use so this doesn't seem like a back door into yet another performance conversation?
Right? Exactly. Yeah. I think a couple things there. Your relationship with them is key. Your approach to it is key. One thing that the woman I had the conversation with did is, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think I've ever had a manager ask me about what are your dreams. And it's funny. I asked my neighbor, I said, if your manager said, what are your dreams? How would you react to that? And he's like, I think I'd be taken back. I don't know, because it's all about what we're supposed to be working on today, the number we're reaching, the goal, the work that we have to do today.
Am I allowed to have dreams?
Yeah. Am I allowed? Is that okay? Right? Yeah. So I think some of her language was very different from a typical work plan, a typical action plan. And I think too, it's evident to see the motivation, if that person is sitting there saying, I'm going to help you meet the right people. I'm going to make sure that you get opportunities to build these skills. That doesn't so much feel like, let's set 3 goals and let's work on them. And, let's make sure some of them are stretch goals. It feels very aspirational and long-term,
even.
Yeah. Long-term focused and focused on, the person, them.
Yeah. Dream is different than corrective action necessary.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Are there any other reasons that the managers you've interacted with and coached, why else do they avoid doing these conversations that seem so logical? We've talked about the idea that, gosh, it might come up that people ask for something that I can't give. We've addressed that. What else gets in the way of managers just being like, I am absolutely doing these. They are on my calendar quarterly. Here we go.
Yeah. Well, I think, one thing to note is that this is different from, say, an annual review or a weekly one-on-one. And so I don't know if some managers might sit there and think, well, I'm already doing this. It's part of my one-on-one. I would separate it out so that it's clear this is a different conversation. This is a different format with a different intention versus your weekly one-on-one. And so, any kind of weekly one-on-one is going to be shorter term focus. This is
very tactical.
Tactical. This is long-term, and performance reviews, of course, look back and this looks forward. And so they are different. Certainly time.
Yeah. I don't have time for another meeting. I'm already doing weeklies and annuals and okay. Yeah.
Yes, certainly time. And, I started to think about that, and I found this stat that we spend about 2,000 hours each year at work for an average person, 2,000 hours. And so it's kind of like, well, I started thinking about that and I'm like, well, my family took a trip to Disney and I think we spent 18 months planning it. It was great. It was the perfect vacation. I was surprised how much I enjoyed it, but we spent a lot of time planning it. 18 months. I'm like, I don't think I've spent 18 months planning anything in my career ever. Right. And so I think I spent 2 or 3 hours maybe in different sittings prepping that document. And the conversation was probably an hour. And it, like I said, I still reflect on it now. And so to not give them the time or to make time. And I think time-wise too, another focus is like, well, we have to meet this number by the end of the month, or we have to, we've got this project coming up or that project. And so could you find time to do this where you're already doing something else? Like you're already eating lunch or you're already,
But not already having a one-on-one, because that's a
No.
different meeting. That's a different
Yes.
focus, but
Yeah.
other kind of multitasking. I saw Tatiana Kolovu's on here. She's going to tell us, take a walk and do this.
I love that. Yes. Take a walk. Yeah.